Hello there, welcome to a new session. Today's classes, I want you to be aware how to use this structure, what we call comparatives in English. So I hope this information is helpful for you. I'm going to introduce in a very, very basic way, because I'm not going to give you so much content, but I want you to know how to use it in context as usual, okay? So let's get started then and see how this works. First of all, we need to be aware of this. When we compare, we can compare subjects. When I mean subjects, I refer to people, animals, elements, things, etc. Many things. We can compare actions, for example, activities, work, abilities, etc. And we can compare also situations. Yeah, we don't only compare objects or people, but we compare also actions, we compare situations. This is so important to keep in mind, to remember. Yeah, this is our first point. Next, I'm going to show you a couple of examples. Look, some people think English is more difficult than Spanish. Some people think English is easier or more easy than Spanish. And I would say, when you have motivation, you learn faster. I need you to notice this. I'm just focusing here. The first one is, some people think English is more difficult. I'm using here, I'm making the comparison, and I'm saying more difficult. The second comparison I have here is easier. And the third comparison I have here is more easy. Yeah, I'm giving you this information because nowadays people have this variant, so I want you to be aware of this. And the last one, faster. As you see, I am using different rules for comparing elements. In this case, I'm comparing two languages. That could be elements. I'm comparing, for example, let's see here, English and Spanish. This could be like elements. And I'm comparing here learn. This is an action. As you see, I'm not only comparing elements or objects or people, I can also compare actions, okay? So this is important to keep in mind, yeah? My first rule, the first rule I used here was this, more and the adjective. In this other rule, I use IER. And also I use more and the adjective. And finally here I used ER, okay? So I need you to notice the difference in these, because this is just the beginning, but I believe it is important for you to see how we use them in context, yeah? This is a situation that my students always tell me. Teacher, I think English is more difficult than Spanish. I say, or some people say English is easier than Spanish, but I would say that when you have motivation, you learn faster, okay? So this is the comparison, just to introduce the topic. Now I'm going to give you more information about this, some more details. Let's see. First of all, we need to check when the word you're going to use for making the comparison has one syllable. This is a rule. In this case, my brother is taller than me. I'm comparing people. I'm comparing characteristics. So tall is an adjective. In this case, I say my brother is taller than me. Taller comes from the word, as you can see here, from the word tall. And when we have one syllable, what we do is to add an ER to make the comparison, okay? Taller than me. My brother, I'm comparing my brother with me. So my brother is taller than me. Okay? So what do I use when I have one syllable? I always say the ER. I add the letters ER for making the comparison. Yeah? It's okay? The second example for using one syllable. Your house is bigger than her house. I am comparing, in this case, two elements again, your house and her house, correct? What adjective am I using? Big. What happens here? What do you notice? The adjective is big, but I'm using double G. What is the rule in those cases? When I have a word, when the word has one syllable, as we're saying here, and it ends with a final consonant, vowel, and consonant spelling, writing, what I should do is to repeat the last consonant. In this case, I have big, and I have to repeat the last consonant, that is G. So I said bigger, double G in this case, okay? Double G. This is what we have to do in this case, right? I hope this part is okay. Now, if this is all clear for you, we're going to move on. So one syllable, we have two rules in this case, yeah? Let's move on to the next one. What about this? When we have two syllables and we have a final Y. Attention here, two syllables and they have a final Y. They end in Y. Usually, the most common rule is that we do this. For example, writing in another language is easier than speaking. In this case, I'm describing activities. And what I'm using here for making the comparison, I'm using IER. What happened in this case? The adjective is the word easy. What did I do with the word easy? I erased the Y, I changed it for an I, and I add the word ER. I repeat, when the word or the adjective, the word you're using to compare, ends in Y, what do you have to do? You have to eliminate the Y, change it for an I, and add ER. Okay? For example, I give you one more example here. Happy. Happier. Okay? To have an idea in this case. Yeah? This is the way it works. We have to eliminate the Y, change it for an I, and ER. The same here. Okay? This is how it works. But now, these days, I have noticed in some books, some pages, some texts, that they are using this new way to explain or to use the comparatives. They're using the adjective and the word more. So easy, they say just more easy. I'm not so familiar to this, but I have seen it before. I've seen it in some pages, in some textbooks. So maybe it's a new rule. They're changing the language. So it's important that you become familiar with this too. Okay, so this is one idea to keep in mind. Yeah, this is the second use, as I was telling you, and I think it's important to remember these 2 points. Okay, so let's erase this and let's move to our next rule. 2 or more syllables. 2 or more. In this case, I'm not considering the final Y. Okay, that's why this is important to consider. In the previous one, we were mentioning, as it says here, final Y, right? But in this case, I am not using final Y. Yeah? So, in this first example, English is more difficult than Spanish. For the word difficult, it's 3 syllables. So, I only add the word more and the adjective. Okay? Now, speaking in a foreign language is more complex than writing. Complex, 2 syllables. When it's no final Y, I only put more and the adjective. Like in this case, more complex. Yeah? This is how it works. The rule here is much easier. Okay? It's simple. You just have to put more and the adjective or the word that you need. Sometimes it's not only a word, maybe it can be an adverb. So it will depend on that. Yeah, so this is the rule. I think this is a little easy to remember. So this would be like the end of this. Well, except for this, we have a couple of exceptions. For example, studying online is better for some people. Yeah, it's better for some people. What is better? yeah, better is an irregular comparative. In this case, is a comparative for the word good. Okay, good. The comparative is not more good or gooder. I'm going to put them here just in case. It's not more good. It's not gooder. No. In this case, we have an exception. So we have to erase this. And the way is better. And in this second example, traffic is worse these days. Okay? It's worse than the past. In the present, it's worse. What is worse is the comparative for the word bad. So we don't say, like, following the rule, badder or more bad. We don't say that. We have to use the word worse. Okay? These are the exceptions that you have to memorize. We have some more exceptions, but you have to check. We'll check them later. Okay? In this case, we won't check them, but I'm telling you in advance that there are 2 more exceptions that you need to consider. Yeah? So, I hope this part is okay. Well, I just tried to explain it in a clear and easy way. So, thank you very much for your attention. I hope this content is helpful for you. I hope you understood the sessions, understood the lessons, and in case, please, did you like this video? I would appreciate to press the button like and subscribe to my channel so I can continue creating more sessions, because I know that you really find this content helpful. Please, you can find me, as you see, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. So the subscription is for you, my YouTube channel, of course, as Diego Professional Teaching. If you like this video, please don't forget, give me a like so I see that the content is helping you. And if you want more information, subscribe. And of course, if you have a comment, if you want me to check a topic or to explain any kind of topic, please feel free to write it in comments so I can start preparing it and show it in the channel. Okay, this would be everything for now. Thank you so very much. I hope to see you in our next video, and bye for now. See you around.